Hey everybody, I'm Paul Ramsey, and I am joined by Roxanne Louise, who is giving a 2-hour workshop at the 2017 NGH convention. And I love this title, Releasing Anger Without Killing Anyone. I mean, that's just not much to ask for, and yet sometimes it seems like it's a lot to ask for, isn't it, Roxanne? How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So this is, this is an important topic because it just seems like there's an awful lot of anger out there nowadays. Before we get into that, I want to know, relative to your practice, do you deal with a lot of clients on anger issues?
I think everyone has anger issues. It's pretty much a universal.
Yeah.
Not is the presenting symptom or just along the way. For example, even if somebody comes in to stop smoking, smoking cessation is related to anger. So
that's a great point. How long have you been practicing?
Since 1989.
89. What got you into hypnotism?
Well, I started out at 4 years old telling my playmate, you are a master of yourself. And at 8, after reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, somewhere around 8 or 9, I was counseling playmates on how to deal with other playmates. So awesome. I think what really, my whole thing is mental and emotional healing. And two things, you go into a field because one, you already have some understanding, skill, or talent, and it's also what you need to learn. So I had certain problematical relationships, like my family members, and then later romantic interests. And so I like to sleep at night. And whether it's anger or depression or grief or fear or something else, I had to learn as a young adult quickly how to start dealing with things so I could sleep, so I would have peace of mind.
Right. That's such a great lesson. And I think I just want to restate it because I think it's really important. It's easy for people to ignore, but so often the work that we do with people is at the minimum a gentle reminder for us.
Absolutely.
And in some cases, it's a very strong lesson that we need to relearn or learn for the first time. I love that you pointed that out. That's great.
So if we have a problem, we have to find a solution. But once you find a solution or even a partial solution, it's going to help somebody else.
Right.
So my path was I would get a problem, I'd figure it out at least partially, and then somebody would show up, and wouldn't you know, it would be precisely what they needed.
Yeah. That's great. That's so good. Your learning objectives, you're going to help people understand the benefits and underlying dynamics of anger, how to use it to help yourself and others, improving both their communication and their lives. You're going to help people know how to shift underlying anger producing assumptions and judgments. People are going to learn how to use anger as motivation for much needed self-understanding, healing, and change. And you're going to teach them multiple techniques, positive countermeasures, and visualizations that work. So lots of good stuff going on in this 2-hour. Of all the topics that you could have chosen to talk and teach about, why this one? Why is this one important to you?
Well, basically, I'm over and over again revisiting different aspects of emotional healing and mind-body healing, which of course relates. So healing from the physical body always means healing your mental and emotional issues. So I'm going round and round different aspects of mental and emotional healing. I found that sometimes just looking for the blessing, looking for the positive thing and what you can learn from something makes an enormous shift. So that's one thing. And second of all, I think the moment you assume that you know more unconsciously than you know consciously, that you have those inner resources you can tap into, you can start delegating more and more of problem solving of any kind to your own inner excellence.
That's brilliant. I don't even know what to say back. I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes. What do you say to the person who maybe finds this video and they say, but I don't get angry. I don't need this. I don't get angry.
Well, they may not get angry, but they might be depressed. So depression is the flip of anger. Or they might have resentment, bitterness, so some other aspect. Or they may have ulcers or cancer or some other physical manifestation that shows that they are not dealing with trapped
Right.
emotions of a strong nature.
Because sometimes that's so great. That's so great. So because sometimes people only think of anger as an outward display, right?
Yeah.
They don't think of anger that turns inward and how
Yes.
it manifests in other way. Your example
Yeah.
of like ulcers is like so great with regard to that. That's so smart.
Suicide is a form of anger.
Yeah.
One way it can manifest.
Yeah. That makes sense too. That's a great point. Tell me a story if you can about a way in which learning about this particular area and developing, either personally or professionally, where there was sort of like a light bulb moment that really accelerated your ability to either get results in your personal life or to get better results with your clients.
Well, there are many, but I think one of them was how can I turn this into a blessing? Or, as a friend of mine, Renata Zoe, used to say, she would have her fist up to heaven and remind you of that Gone with the Wind moment of I'll never be hungry again, where she said, turn this into a blessing. So you can either make a strong statement that this situation is going to turn around and work for you, not necessarily that you get the results you want, but somehow you can make it work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick example. I had an office in Montclair, New Jersey that I spent thousands of dollars advertising. And so I had quite a successful practice there for over 10 years. People in this metropolitan city knew that I was the hypnotist, and if somebody got lost, they would simply on the street ask where the hypnotist is, and they would direct them to my office. Well, somebody came in on the ground floor who I befriended. I would walk my clients and students down to the New Age bookstore and have them order from them. And this owner came from a mindset that only one of us could survive. It was the survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And so he started imitating all the classes I was doing and bringing in my colleagues. So I got angry.
Yeah.
And I resisted moving out. I resisted because, after all, I was there first. I spent all this money and all the other things. And then I had a very interesting answer in meditation. And it was that the people, my students and clients and the others I was trying to direct in a helpful way, were more capable than I was giving them credit for. And that I needed to move on. And when I did, I said, okay, if I'm going to have to move, I want a much nicer office. I want to don't have to pay for parking. I want a safer neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I made a list, and I wound up with a gorgeous office, sweet, and it was closer to home, and it was so much better. So that's where I'm saying you can take anger and make it work for you. Another example, I had a student who took every class I ever taught, including the hypnotherapy training, the Reiki from soup to nuts, and dowsing, everything. And she decided to plagiarize one whole book, my whole self-hypnosis book, which is about 300 pages.
Yeah.
Plagiarized the whole thing. And I found out about it, and I felt initially sad and betrayed because this is somebody I trusted, someone I had known for a number of years. And then I got angry. But in my anger, I said, no one can take away my clients. Nobody can take my business away from me. I have something of value to offer. I am linked up to the source. I can put a whole lot more books out. So I used my anger, I got clear of what I wanted and what was mine by right. And so my business exploded. I had so many clients and students coming out of the woodwork. It was the best thing for my business that I had in a long time.
That's so great. What great examples. Thank you for sharing. That's amazing. So guys, just a reminder, all right, we're talking about a 2-hour workshop on August 12th in the 4 p.m. time slot, releasing anger without killing anyone. Roxanne, if people want to learn more about you and what you do, what's a good way for them to do that?
2 ways. First of all, they can go to my website, which is roxannelouise.com. And the other is to go to my blog, where I have multiple articles, including healing anger without killing anyone. So the blog is unlimitedpotentialhealingcenter.com. And you can also go to my website and click on the blog and get to it directly.
Wonderful.
I'm also writing what started out as handouts is now over 100-page, will be a book that I'll have available for sale soon, very soon.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I think it's a wonderful topic, and I'm so glad that you're doing this 2-hour workshop. I look forward to seeing you in August at the convention.
My pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Okay.